The young and the restless spoilers, the unraveling of deception in a world where secrets fester beneath the surface of seemingly ordinary lives. A perfect plan can turn into a labyrinth of deception, betrayal, and hidden motives. Martin's meticulously orchestrated strategy had everything in place, leaving no loose ends. Every piece of the puzzle had been arranged with the precision of a master tactician, and nothing was left to chance. Yet, as is often the case with even the best-laid plans, unforeseen complications emerged to threaten its flawless execution. Paris, the enchanting city that once represented a beacon of hope and renewal, now teetered on the brink of chaos. Amid the chaos, Paris herself felt a deep sense of foreboding. She was racked with anxiety, her heart pounding as the realization struck her: danger was closing in on her. Despite the plans that beckoned her to come to Paris, she found herself paralyzed by an inner voice urging caution, a warning that the very air around her was laden with peril. In another part of this intricate web of schemes, Tracy found herself overwhelmed by conflicting advice and divergent opinions. Seeking counsel from a host of trusted confidants, she was bombarded by voices each urging her to choose a different path. Among these voices was Kyle, whose unwavering concern for her safety led him to caution her about Alan. Kyle's eyes had seen too much. His gut told him that Alan, once a figure of trust, now exhibited unsettling signs of duplicity. He had observed subtle yet unmistakable indicators, furtive glances, evasive responses, that suggested Alan was concealing something far more sinister than anyone had suspected. But not everyone was as cautious as Kyle. Jack and Diane, two pillars of what once seemed to be a harmonious life, implored Tracy to let go of her suspicions. Why dwell on shadows when the present is so full of promise? They would say, urging her to embrace the joy of the moment and leave behind the weight of mistrust. Their insistence was rooted in a desperate desire to preserve the happiness they had built together. Yet, their dismissals only added layers to the complexity of the situation, as it became clear that not all was as blissful as it appeared on the surface. The stakes were high, and the atmosphere was thick with tension. Every passing moment seemed to carry an air of impending doom. "Everything is absolutely awful for us," became the refrain echoing through hushed conversations and secretive glances, a stark reminder that beneath the veneer of normalcy lay a tumultuous undercurrent of discontent and danger. Unbeknownst to many, Kyle had embarked on a covert investigation into Martin's enigmatic maneuvers. With a steadfast determination to uncover the true nature of Martin's actions, he delved into the mystery with the persistence of a detective chasing down a long elusive lead. His mission was twofold: to reveal the real identity of the man behind the carefully constructed facade and to uncover any distinguishing features or hidden connections that might exist between Martin and Alan. After all, there was a nagging suspicion in his mind. If there was one, it was that Martin and Alan shared some unspoken, perhaps even sinister, commonality. Was there a symbol, a habit, or a single trait that could tie these two together? Kyle was determined to find the answer. The tension reached a fever pitch when Alan, ever vigilant and fiercely protective of his secrets, discovered that he was being followed. His eyes narrowed as he caught sight of someone trailing him, a shadow that seemed determined to uncover his private dealings. "What the hell is going on here?" Alan barked, his voice edged with anger and suspicion. "Why are you following me? What are you trying to accomplish?" His tone left no room for misunderstanding. Alan was not a man to be trifled with. The confrontation was not merely about being watched, it was about protecting the integrity of his carefully guarded secrets. Matters took a dramatic turn when it was revealed that Tracy, the very person whom many believed to be a victim of circumstance, was at the heart of this intrigue. The revelation that Tracy was somehow connected to the surveillance and the investigation sent shockwaves through the already fragile alliances. Alan's anger deepened as he realized that Tracy was more than just a bystander in this unfolding drama. "I can't believe you'd stoop so low," he seethed, his voice low and dangerous. "To think that you were behind this mess all along, it's unforgivable." As the layers of deception continued to peel away, the lines between friend and foe blurred. Martin's perfect plan, once the embodiment of calculated precision, now teetered on the edge of collapse under the weight of accumulating suspicions. Paris's inner turmoil and reluctant hesitation about joining the fray added another layer of complexity, leaving her to wonder whether the allure of Paris could ever be reconciled with the dread that permeated her every thought. Meanwhile, Tracy found herself caught in an emotional maelstrom. The conflicting counsel from Kyle on one hand, and the insistence from Jack and Diane on the other, left her feeling isolated and overwhelmed. She was torn between the desire for the carefree life that Jack and Diane championed and the unsettling truths that Kyle's warnings forced her to confront. Every conversation, every fleeting glance, and every secretive interaction seemed to be a piece of a larger, more dangerous puzzle, a puzzle in which trust was the rarest commodity of all. In the midst of these converging conflicts, the quest to identify the elusive connection between Alan and Martin became the focal point of Kyle's investigation. His relentless pursuit of the truth was not just about uncovering a name or a face. It was about deciphering the intricate code of relationships that bound these men together. Was there a telltale sign, a hidden mark in their behavior or appearance that could unlock the mystery of their shared destiny? Kyle's pursuit was as much an act of defiance as it was a search for justice. He was determined to lay bare the secrets that threatened to shatter their lives. The repercussions of these discoveries were profound. As truths began to surface, old alliances crumbled and new conflicts erupted. Trust, once taken for granted, became a precious rarity in a world where every smile could conceal a dagger and every kind word might be a prelude to betrayal. The perfect plan, set in motion by Martin, now seemed like the harbinger of impending doom, a meticulous design whose pieces were destined to fall apart in the face of human frailty and ambition. Ultimately, this unfolding drama was a testament to the intricate interplay between ambition, loyalty, and the inexorable pull of hidden truths. Each character, driven by their own desires and fears, played a part in a narrative that was as unpredictable as it was compelling. In the end, the only certainty was that the truth, no matter how deeply buried, would eventually emerge, reshaping their lives in ways none of them could have foreseen. As the dust settled and the echoes of confrontation faded into uneasy silence, one thing remained clear. In a world where every action is measured and every word carries weight, the consequences of betrayal and the cost of trust can be more devastating than any perfectly executed plan. The journey to uncover the hidden connection between Alan and Martin was just beginning, and with every new revelation, the line between hero and villain grew ever thinner. This narrative spans the intricacies of human emotion and the tangled web of secrets, inviting readers to delve into a world where every decision carries immense consequence and where the truth, however elusive, is the only beacon of hope amidst a storm of deceit. Martin's master plan had always been one of meticulous detail and cold calculation. Yet, even the most carefully crafted strategies can unravel when the threads of fate intertwine with the passions of the heart. Martin was not about to leave Genoa City alone. He had always seen Tracy as more than just another pawn in his schemes. She was a shield, a human barrier that could absorb the fallout of his dangerous maneuvers. In his mind, if the situation ever turned hostile, he would not hesitate to take her with him as a hostage, using her as protection from the relentless forces that might seek to expose his secrets. Tracy, on the other hand, was no stranger to the burdens of life. Her love affairs were as turbulent as the swirling winds over the Genoa City skyline. Time and again, she found herself ensnared by the bittersweet consequences of pursuing happiness in love. Her life seemed cursed. Every step toward romance led her into a labyrinth of complications, leaving her battered by heartbreak and betrayal. Why me, she often wondered in the quiet solitude of her lonely nights. Why did fate seem determined to cast her aside, denying her the unconditional love and appreciation that every soul craves? It was a question that haunted her, a lingering echo of self-doubt and despair. Meanwhile, the enigmatic figure of Alan loomed large over the unfolding drama. His precise whereabouts were unknown, but his presence was felt in every whispered conversation and every nervous glance exchanged among the inner circle. Alan's connection to the tangled web of secrets was far more complicated than anyone could have predicted. Martin, in particular, harbored a deep-seated fear that his own brother might return. A man who could potentially shatter the carefully constructed facade and divulge the entire truth to everyone. The mere thought of Alan emerging from the shadows and exposing his clandestine operations sent shivers down Martin's spine. The weight of this possibility loomed over him, intensifying his resolve to control every aspect of the situation, even if it meant sacrificing Tracy in the process. As Martin's apprehension grew, a subtle but insistent pressure was applied to Tracy. Alan, whose motives were as enigmatic as they were relentless, began to repeatedly urge her to journey to Paris. His insistence, delivered through hurried phone calls and impassioned messages, was more than just a request, it was a summons laced with urgency and veiled intentions. Paris, the city of light and romance, had become an unexpected stage for the convergence of secrets and betrayals. Yet Tracy, already caught in a whirlwind of emotions and suspicions, was not ready to be swept away by the allure of the city without careful consideration. She pleaded for time, 2 days to think, to sort out the tangled emotions and assess the risks. It was a request born out of both genuine concern for her well-being and the desperate need to escape the shadow of Martin's manipulative grip. During these 2 days, as Tracy wrestled with her doubts, the tension in Genoa City was palpable. Martin's perfectly orchestrated plan was starting to show cracks under the pressure of unforeseen variables. Every conversation, every furtive glance, and every act of concealed defiance added layers to an already complicated narrative. Jack and Diane, whose voices had once echoed with encouragement for a life of simple happiness, now found themselves at odds with the gravity of the situation. They had urged Tracy to cast aside her suspicions and embrace the fleeting moments of joy that life offered. Their words, intended to soothe, instead clashed with the deeper, more dangerous undercurrents swirling around her. In the midst of this, Kyle continued his covert investigation into Martin's shadowy operations. His eyes were trained not only on Martin but also on the subtle, yet unmistakable, connections between Martin and Alan. There was a suspicion that a defining characteristic, something deeply ingrained in their mannerisms or personal history, linked the two men together. Kyle's investigation was a race against time, a pursuit of truth that threatened to upend the delicate balance of alliances and expose the underbelly of Genoa City's power struggles. His persistence was not merely a quest for answers, it was an act of defiance against the forces that sought to manipulate and control the lives of those around him. Martin, desperate to maintain control, began to tighten his grip on the situation. He was well aware that every moment Tracy remained under his influence increased the risk of exposure. His mind raced with possibilities and contingencies, weighing the cost of losing her against the cost of further entangling himself in his own web of deceit. The specter of Alan, ever the unknown variable, hovered over these plans like a dark cloud. Martin's anxiety reached a fever pitch with each passing day, as he anxiously awaited news of Alan's next move. He feared that the moment his brother would appear, the entire truth would be laid bare for all to see, and with it, the crumbling of his carefully constructed empire. As the fateful day approached, Tracy found herself at the crossroads of destiny. The continuous pressure from Alan to head to Paris, coupled with the foreboding knowledge of her role as a mere shield in Martin's scheme, left her questioning everything she once believed in. Why was she repeatedly caught in the crossfire of love and treachery? Why was she always the one to bear the brunt of dangerous secrets and manipulative schemes? The questions echoed in her mind, urging her to confront the possibility that perhaps she was more than just a victim. Maybe she was the key to unlocking the hidden truths that bound the lives of those around her. In this volatile mix of ambition, deception, and raw human emotion, the stakes could not have been higher. Every character, from the calculating Martin to the conflicted Tracy, from the enigmatic Alan to the vigilant Kyle, played a part in a drama where loyalty was tested and trust was a luxury few could afford. With the prospect of imminent confrontation on the horizon, the fragile peace in Genoa City was on the verge of shattering. Each decision, each whispered conversation, and every look of suspicion drew the intricate plot closer to its inevitable climax, a climax that would force everyone to confront the hidden connections that had long been concealed beneath the surface. In the final analysis, as the clock ticked inexorably toward a moment of reckoning, one truth remained irrefutable. In a world where every relationship was a potential battlefield and every secret had the power to destroy, the only way to survive was to face the truth head-on, no matter how painful or dangerous it might be. Tracy's request for 2 days of reflection was not a sign of weakness, but rather a testament to her resilience, a final stand against the forces that sought to define her destiny. And as the pieces of Martin's perfect plan began to fall apart, it became increasingly clear that in the intricate dance of power and betrayal, the truth was the most formidable force of all. This narrative not only captures the escalating tension among the characters but also explores the deeper emotional struggles that define their lives. Through the interplay of ambition, fear, and the search for identity, each character is forced to confront the ultimate question: in a world of lies and manipulation, what does it truly mean to be free?